So, would you believe me? Would you believe me if I tell you that anime makes more money in North America outside of Japan than in Japan? Okay, we're gonna cover that right now. So let's go, guys. Let's get into it. Hello guys, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that little bell right there so that you can get notifications every time I upload a video. Okay? Enjoy. What is up, guys? This is your boy Andy Matrix. I talk about anime, manga, video games, geek culture, and Japanese culture. And I am at Cartoon Brew, cartoonbrew.com, one of the best websites for news on animation and cartoons and anime. Right, so cartoonbrew.com says report anime's overseas market overtook Japanese sales for the first time in 2020. Right, so in 2020, so many things happening. Not just the destruction of the economy in 2020, and a lot of other crazy things that happened, along with the beer virus that happened last year. Right, so it says new data has emerged about COVID's impact on the anime industry. The global anime market shrank in 2020 for the first time in 11 years. According to the latest report from Association of Japanese Animation, AJA, but the overseas component of the market grew. Yeah, that's right. And actually, especially with streaming like Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll, Funimation, and now Sony owns Funimation and Crunchyroll. So, all that stuff, it just grew. Video streaming services grew in size. So Netflix and Disney Plus, they grew massively during the pandemic. Everybody was locked at home. There was nothing else to do but to, sit down and watch TV. Right? So it says AJA represents animation producers in Japan, calculated by the global market worth of 2.4 trillion yen, which equals to $21 billion. Last year in 2020, in the latest edition of the annual industry report, it says that there was a 3.5% drop in revenue in Japan. So the anime industry, anime sales dropped in Japan by 3%. Right, 3.5%, almost 4%. But then it's actually growing in North America. So America, China, Mexico. I'm thinking in Europe too, England. It says in North America and China, it grew. It said grew by 3% year on year, totaling 1.2 yen, which is basically $10 billion. It says it took over domestic sales. So it's making more money than in Japan, which came in at 1.1 trillion yen, which is 10 billion. And for the first time ever, this helps mask the fact that the domestic market shrank by significant 9%. Holy smoke. So the domestic market in Japan, the anime market, fell by 9%. That includes sales, merchandise. It went down by 10%. That's huge. 10% does not sound like a lot, but for anime, it's huge. It's a huge drop, really. And here's the thing. Here's the reason why I decided to talk about this, because a lot of people are wondering, oh, well, how come American companies are trying to take over Japanese anime? How come are Japanese companies gonna try to pander to Western audiences?
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, steps away.
Listen closely. Please pay attention. Look. What you have to understand, that what's happening in Japan is that the population in Japan is shrinking. Okay, Japan is having an aging population. The population is shrinking. So you don't have as many young people being born that will be consumers of anime and stuff, right? So it's the same thing in America. The population in America is starting to shrink. The birth rate is going down. So in Japan, much like Sony used to put Japan first, but not anymore. Now it's America and overseas audience first. So because of the birth rate in Japan, and I believe it's also the economy in Japan, because of that, we're going to start seeing more anime studios, anime company pandering to Western audiences. Now, when it comes to manga, I think manga is safe because manga is made by Japanese artists, so they're not gonna be pandering to Western audiences. They're just gonna make good stories, right? But the studios, the big corporations like Bandai, Namco, Konami, all these companies, Sony, they're going to start pandering to the Western audience because they're saying, well, we don't have enough children being born in Japan, so in the next 10, 20 years, it's that we're going to start losing money if we only have the Japanese people in mind. So because we're making more money overseas in North America and in Asia, especially China, then we need to start selling to these people. And this is the part, where they might start changing their anime to pander to Western audiences. Now, I don't necessarily think that they're gonna go woke, as in WOKE. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think they're gonna start doing the whole politically correct thing like in American films. I don't think they're gonna start doing that, but they are just gonna start putting Western audiences first. Okay, so they're probably gonna think about Asian countries like China, Korea, Philippines, and then they're gonna think about Americans because that's where the money's at. That's where half the money is being made. So they say, okay, well let's serve our audience. But what I think is going to happen is that you're gonna have Americans, like people in the West, these Western companies. They're gonna see, oh wow, so Japanese people finally decided to cater to us. All right, they're gonna take advantage of that, and they're gonna start asking Japan, hey, can you do this for us? Can you create this feminist anime for us? Right, that's what I'm predicting. Okay, this is a prediction. I am predicting. Look, I've been an anime fan for the longest time. I've seen everything. Look, I've seen what happened with Tokyo Pop in the crash of 2008. Okay, I've seen it. I was in, when I graduated high school, the economic collapse, the economic crash in 2008. Everything that happened up until now, I see how it has changed. And Japan, they're gonna have to start, they're gonna have to start thinking about the Western audience more than they used to, because most of their money is coming from this part of the world. They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to, and it kind of sucks to say, but it's just a reality. And I think that they know that. I think that they're starting to realize that. And not only that, but now they're gonna start competing with Chinese anime, which honestly is not. And Chinese anime is not that great, but still. That's where things are headed. So keep that in mind. And then it said these figures represent the anime market in a broad sense, including spin-off businesses like live entertainment, like stage plays, which has particularly badly hit by COVID. Also, these sales also include going to anime conventions, right? And merchandise. It says streaming is the only market segment that grew in 2020. Like I said, increasingly full by 35% to 93 billion yen. That's 817 billion. Right? So the Association of Japanese Animation also uses a narrower definition of anime industry, which relates to revenue seen by anime producers and studios. This too fell for the first time in 11 years by 9%. 274 billion yen, which is $2.4 billion. So the overseas anime market has been booming for a decade, fueled by increasing distribution via streaming and is overtaken by Japanese market was long expected. However, in his analysis, the AJA report for Anime News Network, anime business journalist Tadashi. So, what are they talking about here? Okay, yeah, so now they're talking about, here in this little article here. Actually, let me zoom in. So in this little part here, they're talking about how, they're thinking about moving production of anime. So it says, because of the shortage of Japanese studios, there have been movements to produce anime-style titles in South Korea, Taiwan, China, and even Thailand. Within China in particular, there have been unique anime-style properties based on Chinese source materials. Basically, the same thing with like manhwa, like Korean manga, like what's it called, Solo Leveling. I'm surprised they haven't made an anime about that. But take a look at God of High School. That was a Korean manga, a webtoon, Korean webtoon, and now it's an anime on Crunchyroll. So just keep that in mind. It says these titles have been entered the market and have started picking up popularity. The strengthened barrier of entry for Japanese anime with the Chinese market will enforce the growth of homegrown anime titles in China. Except that, the titles that China makes, they kind of suck. So what Japan has over China is that they have better stories. Because you got to remember, in China, there's so many restrictions and there's so many things that they cannot do because of, what the government enforces, that the stories just starts to, it takes away from the joy of the story. Because let's say if you want to make an action anime, like an action thriller, and it involves like government politics in it, the Chinese government, they're gonna be like, no, we cannot allow that. So a Chinese artist won't be able to tell certain stories. So that is what Japan has over China, is the quality of stories. And man, so expect these changes. So expect these changes in the coming years. Yes, Japan will start, thinking more about Western audiences, more and more, now more than ever, since the last 20-30 years. And I don't know, if it's going to turn out like American entertainment or not, but this is only the beginning, and for now, we can only just see what happens. What is up, everybody? Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can receive new future notifications. Check out the blog at ndrtv.com. Follow me on Twitter. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave your thoughts or anything you want to say right below this video in the comments below. This is Andy Matrix. Thank you for watching. Godspeed, everybody. Godspeed.